going to speak here this very short time. So, Lieutenant Governor Ramsey, I'm glad to have you. Representative Williams, Bill Rowe is in Chicago at his son or daughter's wedding. He said he would love to be here, but now, folks, that's what he's supposed to be. He's where it's supposed to be, okay? So we'll take a little things here. You take
that's all right.
Okay? Rusty Crow's not going to be here. Thank the Lord for small miracles. He said, don't tell him I said it, okay? If Rusty showed up, he didn't have to talk a little bit. We just couldn't stand that. But Rusty's son is actually on a ball team that's playing for Tennessee against Virginia. So Rusty said he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's going to watch his son play ball. So give him that. By the way, Rusty did send us some door prizes. 3 $100 bills. That's going to be good for us. At this time, with all of our elected county officials and appointed officials, please stand. Carter County officials, please stand. And thank you so much for our city officials. Please stand. We have several people that's candidates running for office for different counties and different areas, our county included. At this time, would you all please stand? Thank you very much. At this time, we're going to have present a plaque. Marshall, you can get that, please. In honor of Pat Red Byers for his lifetime achievements in public service, commitment to his community, to his fellow man, and to the Republican Party, presented by the Carter County Republican Party, April 20th, 2012. Pat Red served as our mayor 2 or 3 terms. He was the longest serving city councilman, and Pat Red passed away. And Yogi, that's his son. Yogi, are you here? Would you come up, please?
Right here. Come.
We also have a plaque in honor of Ralph Cole for his lifetime achievements in public service commitment to his community, to his fellow man, to the Republican Party, presented by the Carter County Republican Party, April 20th, 2012. Ralph was one of our representatives. He served, I think, 12 or 14 years. He was appointed by our county commission and was elected. He was a businessman in Carter County, and we appreciate what he did for our Carter County Republican Party. His family is not here tonight, so we'll make sure he gets this plaque. Give him a hand, please. Okay, I'm supposed to say a couple of things about this seat, enjoy the meal, got that, and go, and the governor, and feel good, and okay. This time, I'd like to introduce Carter County's newest re-elected official, Mr. Keith Bowers.
I'm the luckiest man in the room, even more lucky than the governor, because I just got through a re-election, and everybody likes to hear it. It's an honor tonight to have our governor with us, and it's my honor to introduce him. And it's kind of a full circle for Carter County and for Governor Haslam. We were his first Reagan Day that Governor Haslam keynoted at. He was right here at this very spot. And we are very lucky as a state to have a legislature and a governor both from the Republican Party. And we have done a good job in the last 2 elections. We've done a really good job making the Democrat Party a thing of the past in this state. And as long as we govern responsibly and well, we can continue to do that. And the good thing about Governor Haslam, and I'm sure you've noticed it now you talked to him, and I'd also reference to Lieutenant Governor Ramsey. It's unusual to have people in your state, or who are your first and second person in your state, that you can walk up to and be as comfortable as talking to your neighbor. And who truly listens to what your problem is, listens to your concern, and you know they're hearing it, and you know they're taking it back to Nashville and trying to help you. And I don't think many states in the union have that. And we're very lucky, very blessed to have it in this state. And we also, as evidence tonight, we know the state doesn't end in Knoxville. We all love Knoxville. It's way up here too. And I'm with one last thing, because I know no one wants to hear me talk because we're here to hear the governor speak. But the governor ran a lot of things when he was campaigning. He talked about making state government work better and work more efficiently. And we experienced that right here in Carter County just recently. And every county commissioner knows that, and every county elected constitutional officer knows that. And it isn't about the potential of jobs in Tennessee. It isn't about the potential of seeing jobs grow in Carter County. Drive up 19E, there's cranes and there's steel. And that's where Snap-on's expanding. And that's 50 jobs that we got in Carter County, not in the state of Wisconsin. And we like people from Wisconsin, but we want those 50 jobs right here. And a lot of that was made possible by the fact that we interact with the state for our grants and to get approvals. Things take weeks now that used to take months. And that's the way government should be. It should help facilitate. Because there's only three things people care about. It's the economy, economy, economy. We're all hurt as a state, and we're hurt as a county. We're seeing things get better, and I don't think there's any question things are getting better. And I think the leadership of this man and his administration is going to help that. And with that, Governor, go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks. Hey, it is really, really good to be back in Carter County. The first thing, and you all know this, but I'm sure somewhere might be prettier in the springtime, somewhere in the world than Carter County and this whole part of the world, but I've never been there. It's gorgeous here, and every time I come here, I think this is really, when people think of Tennessee, I think they think of this. Green, mountains, rivers, pretty place. I mean, this really is, I think, like I said, I have to be careful since I represent the whole state, but this is an incredibly pretty part of our state and friendly, and I really appreciate that. If I look like I'm having fun in this job, it's because I am. And I want to thank all of you all who helped me do this. Like, as I said, like, maybe there's a prettier place than Carter County. I don't know where it is. Maybe there's a better job than being the governor of Tennessee, but I have no idea what it is. It does get, after a while, you kind of start thinking, hey, this is pretty cool, because everybody, once you're governor, everybody laughs at your jokes. No matter where you show up, I mean, my wife and I used to go visit a school, and it'd be the two of us. Now you go, and there's TV cameras and newspaper reporters, and you kind of start thinking, hey, this is kind of a big deal. And then every now and then you'll be reminded that you're not all that big of a deal at all. About 2 or 3 months ago, I was somewhere, and I see this little, he's like a 10-year-old boy, and he's walking up to me, and he has a pen and a piece of paper, and he's walking right toward me. As he's walking, I think, well, I'll be the nice, politician. I'll kind of get down on a knee. And so I get down on a knee and reach for his pen and paper, and he walks right past me to Darrell Waltrip and gets his autograph. So I think, all right, I learned my lesson. I am not doing that again. I said, until somebody is like looking me right in the eye, I mean, we're eye level, and I'm not going to reach no matter what. I mean, they're going to have to put the pen in my hand. But I guess this is a couple months after that, and our daughter was in town, and we had gone to the Grand Ole Opry. And we were sitting backstage at the Grand Ole Opry and waiting in between acts, and I'm sitting in a chair, and here comes an adult walking up to me, and as he's walking, he's getting closer, and he's kind of starting to bend down, and I'm about as far away from here, and it's really good. I'm thinking, all right, I'm pretty sure he's coming to get my autograph, He gets closer and closer, and so I fall for it, and I reach out, and little Jimmy Dickens is standing behind me. He's about, he really is just about 4'10", if you've ever seen him. Little Jimmy Dickens really is little, and so I thought, okay, forget it. Like, from now on, they're going to have to surgically implant that person's pen in my hand before I ever reach for it again. But it is, in all seriousness, it is a great honor to get to do this. I love my job. I really, really do. It is a huge blessing and honor to get to do this. One of the reasons is because what Keith and Johnny were talking about. Thanks to you all, we really have majorities in the House, in the Senate, and in the governor's office for the first time since back right after the Civil War. And we talked a lot about what that would be like if we could ever do it, and could we make a difference. And I want to stop now and recognize, I know we have two members of the House here, Representative Matthew Hill, I guess, who's actually from up the road a little bit, but is here, and I appreciate that, and Representative Kim Williams. And I want to say this. People say, well, what have you learned since you've been there? I've learned a whole lot. One of the things is how hard these folks work. People are like, oh, that's great. You get elected, you get to go to Nashville, and go to fancy dinners and all. Baloney. It is a lot of work. And it doesn't just happen during the legislative session. It doesn't just happen Monday afternoon through Thursday afternoon from January to May. It is all week long, in session and out of session. And I tell them all the time, if they ever figured out what they make per hour, they could have a federal lawsuit over wage and hour demands, okay? Because it really, really is. And it's a full-time job for not a lot of pay, I'll put it that way, for all they put in. So I'm really, really grateful that folks are willing to do it. And speaking of that, I'm really glad to have my friend Ron Ramsey here. People think we kind of fake it. You might remember we ran against each other 2 years ago, and people might think, oh, that's what politicians say. I want to recognize my distinguished colleague. No, in Ron and I's case, it really is true. I love working with Ron because he really does care about making things happen and making things work. And we probably talk. We probably talk 3 or 4 times a week at least, in person or on the phone, probably more than that. And I want to say this, I know Ron is going to start representing part of Carter County. And just a little inside secret, that's probably not a real bad thing for Carter County. When Bill Frist was the majority leader of the United States Senate and Lamar Alexander was the junior senator, he used to always say, having Bill Frist as the majority leader of the United States Senate has been good for America, and it hasn't been so bad for Tennessee either. Well, that's kind of what it's like to have Lieutenant Governor representing your county. I'm not saying he'll play favorites over others, but it's nice to have the home team keep the scorecard every now and then, if you know what I mean. So Ron does great work. We're at the last week of session, and the truth is, that's right. The truth is, we're there for a lot of reasons. One, I think the Republican majorities have been serious about saying, let's get down to work, let's get a budget considered, let's have the conversation, let's deal with the business we have, and then go home. And really, if there's been one evangelist for that thought, it's been Ron, who said, they didn't elect us to be here all year, let's show that we can get about our business. And I think, as my grandmother used to say, Lord willing, the creek don't rise, that by Thursday or Friday, Ron, am I right at that they'll be finished, which will be the earliest you all been through in how long?
Really, ever.
Ever.
Fewest number of legislative days in the history of the state.
Did you hear what Ron says? The fewest number of legislative days in the history of the state. Here's why it's important. Number one, it saves some money. But number two, the folks that designed the Constitution of the United States and of the state designed our legislative government to be representative government, to be citizen legislators, to where they really could have jobs, whether they were back running a real estate business or all the different things folks do, and still go and serve. And the more that we do that, then the more people really can be true citizen legislators. So it makes a difference financially. We'll save, I don't know how much money that is, you probably know, over what it was. What's that? $2 million. That's real money. That's $2 million we can put toward a lot of other things. But also it lets those folks really be true citizen legislators, which is a big deal. So 2 years ago when we were running, we were saying we have a historic opportunity. The Republicans might, like I said, for the first time really ever since Reconstruction, have the House majority, the Senate majority, and have the governor's office. So the question was, can we make any difference? Well, let me just walk you through a few of the things. Keith said the big issue is the economy, the economy, the economy. And it really is about jobs. I mean, when I ran for governor, you didn't have to be a real intellectual whiz to know what the big issue was jobs. At that point in time, we were about 10.5% unemployment. And so we ran, and the general election that year really became about, it's a Democrat vision or a Republican vision about how to produce jobs better. And so that was kind of the campaign. Afterwards, when we won, the National Governors Association sponsors a new governor's school where they kind of teach you how to, what it's like to have a state trooper drive you everywhere around, and what it's like to do all the different things, and how do you walk into this job. And in between sessions, we were talking, and we kind of said, well, did you have a hard election? Did you have a primary opponents? What was your general election like? And then we started talking about, well, what was your campaign theme? And everybody's was, I'm going to be the jobs governor. Because that's really what the issue is. The good news is, because of policies we put in place in Tennessee, like tort reform, like a real streamlined government process, today in Tennessee, more people have a job than any time in the last 4 years. That's good news. 44,000 people have picked up jobs in Tennessee in the last year. Is that where we want it to be? No. But for the first time, and even longer, the unemployment rate in Tennessee is lower than the national average. For a long time, the national average, we were above the national average. For the first time ever, we're below theirs, and we're actually going down a lot faster than they are. And it's all about a single-hearted focus on bringing jobs. And that's what the General Assembly talks about all the time, and it's what we focus on. Because in the end of the day, that's what people care about. We know, by the way, that government doesn't produce jobs. We really don't. It's people who invest their capital who do that. But we want to make it so they choose to invest in Tennessee. And whether it be Snap-on doing that, or Volkswagen doing that, or Borla Manufacturing, I can go on and on. They're choosing Tennessee because we have the right climate in terms of low taxes and a right-to-work state, and a state that says, we want you here. And we spend a whole lot of time out there saying, we want you here. So that was the big challenge. But when I realized that to be the jobs governor, we really have to be the education governor. We have to change the trajectory of education in Tennessee. And a lot of you say, well, I don't get it. What's the connection? I'll give you an example. Volkswagen recently agreed to put on a third shift, which meant adding another 1,000 Tennesseans. That 1,000 jobs is pretty good news, right? But they came to us the other day and said, here's our only concern. For every 100 people that we interview, we just find 8 that are eligible to be hired. Okay? We have to interview 100 to hire 8. Okay? So it speaks to a lot of things. But one of those is that we really need more training in the whole technology and engineering and math. Some of that is, by the way, we're not talking all 4-year schools. Our technology centers and trade schools are a very important piece of that. But I want to have, the next time Volkswagen gets ready to expand, that they say, we just had to interview, to hire 50 people, we had to interview 100, okay? We want to cut that ratio by providing more people who are better prepared. Because at the end of the day, if we're going to be the job state, we have to be a state that prepares people education-wise. And so the other big thing that I think distinguishes what we're trying to do as Republicans is this. As Republicans, we don't always agree on everything, by the way. There's stuff, we're all Republicans, but there'd be an argument, and we'd say, on this issue, here's what I think. And we wouldn't be 100%, we'd be 98% together. But the one thing that we all bottom line believe is this. We believe in giving the very best service you can, the very best government service for the very lowest price, right? We don't think government's bad. We just think small government is better than big government, right? If we didn't have government, we'd have anarchy. So we don't think government's bad. We think we provide needed services. When you need to get your driver's license, when we need a road paved, when we have to incarcerate prisoners, when we want to provide education for 4-year-olds or PhD students. So the challenge is, how do we do that for the lowest price possible? Our first year in office that we talked about, we cut the budget $1 billion. Okay, $1 billion. Now we did that without cutting vital services. For the first time in 4 years, we gave a raise to state employees. We made hard choices And we kept the state moving forward, but we realized that it's not our money, it's the people's money. Here's something interesting about Tennessee, and hopefully it'll make you feel good here. There's something called Tax Freedom Day, all right? You add up all the taxes you pay, local, state, and federal, and let's just say before you spend money on anything else, your house payment, insurance, food, etc., all that money just goes to pay taxes. And there's a comparison to, so in the average American, if you just did that, just where your taxes pay for how much money you make, you'd work all the way up to April 18th before you start making a penny for yourself. Okay? April 18th before you make any money for yourself. The rest of that's all going to state, local, and federal taxes. That's a long time, right? That's, I don't know, what's that, Matt? That's 120 days or something like that. Something close to that, okay? In Tennessee, it's March 31st. Okay, now that's not great. We'd like it to be March 1st or February 15th. But really what that means is that for 3 weeks in Tennessee, you're working for yourself instead of paying money to the government. Well, that's a big deal, right? Yeah. We can sell that. 3 weeks. So that's why, listen to this. Today in Tennessee, personal income is growing faster in Tennessee on average than any other state in the country. Okay, any